and welcome back to our Radio Kerry Outside Broadcast Unit. We're coming to you live from Lough Guitane, in case you've only just tuned in the last couple of minutes. And my final guests here in the Outside Broadcast Unit are Andrew Boylan, Deirdre O'Loughlin and David Lennon. Now, Andrew and Deirdre work for Irish Water and David works for Kerry County Council, and they're all going to tell us about science, because the other focus of this programme, of course, is to talk about Science Week and to talk about careers in science. And in fact, all three of you studied science to a degree and then ended up in this career. And I might start with you, Andrew. What did you study, first of all?
Well, I studied science in University College Galway, and I concentrated on environmental subjects, but my main subject was chemistry, and I subsequently then went on to Dublin City University and studied advanced analytical techniques.
That sounds very complicated.
I suppose it was, but it was what I was interested in, and I found applications for it in the workplace, and I suppose my advice would be to anybody who's considering a career, particularly in science, to follow what you enjoy and what you like, and that's what I did.
So did you get a chemistry set from Santa as a child or something like that?
I got a microscope.
Did you?
I got a microscope at one point, yes. And that did spur me on, and I would go out to puddles and ponds and try and find little ghoulies in the water, etc. That gave me hours of endless fascination.
And in actual fact, there's a nice tie-in today, because you knew David Lennon in a previous life, David from Kerry County Council. He came in here, David, as a young fella, and you trained him in and showed him the ropes. Is that right?
That's right. I suppose that was only about 2 or 3 years ago. Yes, about
a few years ago.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Andy was a research student at the time.
Okay.
So he came in to work with us on the student programme.
In Kerry County Council?
In Kerry County Council, in the laboratory. Yes.
Okay, and you saw his potentials immediately.
Yes, I will say, yes. It worked out very well.
Deep down.
And David, what do you do in Kerry County Council?
I work as I'm head of the laboratory in Kerry County Council, and I work with an excellent team.
Okay.
And I think every laboratory works, it depends on the team that works with them, and I'm very fortunate that I have an excellent team who work for me. And we're one of six local authority labs who have accreditation in local authority which have accreditation in the country. And outside of Dublin, we have the largest scope of accreditation as well. So,
okay.
And that's thanks to the excellent team which I have, which consists of scientists, technicians, biologists, and microbiologists.
And why would a county council need a lab? For what kind of reasons? What kind of things do you do in the lab?
We do, I suppose, our monitoring, we monitor nearly everything to do with the environment in Kerry. As you know yourself, Kerry is extremely important. Our tourism is very important here in Kerry, the beauty of the landscape and everything like that. And part of the beauty of the landscape is because of the natural environment, and where the state of the natural environment is very influential in that. So we analyse, I suppose we sample and we analyse and we monitor lakes, rivers, the blue flag beaches, for example, that are so important to Kerry. We're responsible for that. The drinking water, of course, we have a very good partnership with Irish Water, since 30% of our samples is related to Irish Water work. So we do the private drinking water, public drinking water, and wastewater treatment for Irish Water.
And you must be doing a pretty good job with the blue flags, because we seem to retain them every year, which is nice.
Yes, so far so we're doing very well, and we're not only at blue flags, but we also have green coast beaches as well. And we monitor up to 23 beaches altogether. 14 of those are our blue flag beaches, and then we have something like 6 green coast beaches, and then the balance then are just our beaches that are important for the candidate beaches.
And your own background is in science?
My own background is in science. Like Andy, I went to University College Galway. I did study chemistry. I did a master's there as well, and I eventually in the area of pharmaceutical chemistry or synthetic organic chemistry. But as my career developed, I had more a hankering for working in the environment, and I worked for a while in the United States in environmental companies in the United States, and then I came back to Ireland, back to Galway originally, and then came to Kerry.
And now down in Kerry. Deirdre, let's bring you in and tell us, when you were, we'll say, in secondary school, did you have an inkling that maybe something in the science world was where you'd end up working?
I can't say there was anything specific, that sparked my interest in science, but I always enjoyed it, particularly the problem-solving side of things, maths and chemistry. So I suppose, in fact, actually for Leaving Cert, I had actually chosen biology and accountancy, and I've inadvertently found myself in the back of a chemistry room one day, thought this looks very interesting, and changed from accountancy to chemistry.
So you could have gone either way.
Yes, that sealed my fate for science as a career and studying.
And what do you do with Irish water?
I'm a drinking water compliance specialist in the southern region, so I cover Kerry, and as David has said, we have a great relationship with Kerry County Council. My main role is protection of public health and safeguarding our water supplies to ensure that the water is wholesome and clean and in compliance with the standards and the drinking water regulations. An overview of what I do, I suppose, is overseeing the monitoring programs. That can include reviewing say online monitoring from treatment plants to ensure that the water leaving the plant is in compliance, as well as routine monitoring in the network as in compliance with drinking water regulations, and for investigative sampling if there's an issue. I also liaise with again Kerry County Council, as David has said. We liaise with the HSE to ensure, for their health advice, and we also liaise with the EPA to ensure that any non-compliances are notified and that we feed back that information back to the EPA. I could actually use Lough Guitane here as an example. Actually, the Lough Guitane plant was on what the EPA call their remedial action list. So that's a list of supplies that the EPA consider that there are issues of concern and that an action plan is required to address those issues. So Lough Guitane has been in place, I suppose, here since in operational since August 2018. And my role in that would have been, and it was on the EPA's remedial action list for cryptosporidium, which can make people sick, and for THMs, which is a byproduct of disinfection. So basically, when chlorine reacts with organics in the water, it can produce THMs. When I say organics, I'm talking about decomposing vegetation and soil in the water. So that can vary. So my role would have been to collate the data from the plant for submission to the EPA to remove that supply from the RAL, which was removed towards the end of 2018. So it's like no 2 days are the same. It's a very varied role. And
you enjoy it, obviously.
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
And what you do links into what Andrew does as well.
We do exactly the same thing, but just different regions.
And you want to talk to me about pesticides, is it?
Well, if you want to listen.
Yeah, I do. What do you have to do with pesticides?
Well, I have the same role as Deirdre, except in a different region. So
okay.
I'm in the Eastern Midlands region. And I'm here because I take the lead role with regards to pesticides and the detection of pesticides. Pesticides would have been one of the top 3 concerns for us, and in previous EPA reports they would have issued or they would have highlighted their concerns with regards to growing issue with pesticides. So we took a very proactive stance in Irish Water in terms of our monitoring programs, and then we reached out to our colleagues in the local authorities, and in particular I must call out John Brigan in Kerry County Council, who's been extremely helpful with our cause here. And we struck out to other stakeholders in the agriculture and farming community, and we joined up together and formed a group called the National Pesticide Drinking Water Action Group. And that group is focused on ensuring that there are no pesticides in the catchment, which is in the environment, and by consequence of it being in the environment, then potentially in drinking water. So we've joined our forces together, work collaboratively, and engage with the EPA on this. I suppose the thing to remember here that it doesn't take a lot for a pesticide exceedance in drinking water. In fact, 1 drop in an Olympic-sized swimming pool is sufficient to exceed the limit. Now, having said that too, it's important to note that there isn't, the standards that are set are not based on health. They were based on the limitations of instruments to detect the pesticides at the time.
Okay.
So there is no health significance there. But we do have an issue in Ireland with regards to one product in particular, which is MCPA, which accounts for 75% of all pesticide detections, or exceedances I should say, in Irish drinking water. And MCPA, just for people who may not be aware, is a product that is used to control and abate the prevalence of rushes in fields. And I suppose there's a number of reasons why farmers would like to do that. Some of them are cosmetic, and others are for to make sure that their land is fit for use and arable. So we've leaned across to many organisations, and I say again, the farming community, and they've been very, very helpful and supportive of this cause. And the message I suppose we're trying to get out is that we need to take a look at the water from a holistic perspective. We all have to think together and join up the dots. So we're all involved, and it's all of our communities, and it's our community that drinks the water. So by using that message, we've had some great success, and we've halved the number of supplies with pesticide exceedances nationally.
Very good. Well, and that's good to know. From a consumer point of view and everything else, we're going to have to leave it there, folks, but thank you all for coming in and joining us on the show this afternoon, live from Lough Guitane. Andrew Boylan, Deirdre O'Loughlin and David Lennon.